What made you have to turn down someone you actually really wanted to have sex with? I discovered she f***ed the person I despise with my whole body. Instant turn off. Was it Bill Lumber? She was in a relationship but told me not to worry about it. Yeah, no. As someone who knows what it feels like to get cheated on, no, that's just such a bad personality trait that it's a huge turn off for me. She asked me if I had ever done crack, then proceeded to tell me how great crack was. He uttered the line, "I'll be honest, I'm not attracted to you, but I'll f*** you anyway." Instantly out. Found out she was trying to have sex with me so I would get her pregnant. She said, "It's alright if you don't wash yourself for a long time, because after 3 or 4 days the body start excreting a natural soap." Nope, 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 motherfucking nope. He had a girlfriend. Plus I was in love with him, and he was just drunk and probably didn't even want me. Oh, and I was also a virgin. If I didn't turn it down, I'm sure for him it would be just a one-time thing he'd prefer to forget once he's sober, but for me it would just break my heart. Bad breath. I think she had a dead tooth or something. A shame. Was her name Maureen Ponderosa? The classic take a girl home from a bar without protection. She popped birth control in front of me and said let's do it anyway. I remembered a wise Reddit post once saying the girls that offer with no protection are the last girls you want to use no protection with, so I Ubered home and smoked a bowl and made a hot pocket instead. Friend's wife. She was very beautiful and would come onto me pretty much any time we were drunk and alone together. I'm not interested in being that type of backstabbing scum. They're divorced now, which is good for him. He spent over an hour trying to convince me he didn't need to use a condom. He complained about it so much that I didn't trust him not to take it off when I was in a position not to notice, so I told him the night was cancelled. Dropped him off at his hotel old friend driving through town, and haven't talked to him since. Girl was beautiful, but very depressed. She just wanted to feel something different and there was lots of crying. I was drunk at the time and still don't know how I was able to say no. A couple months later we were both in different places in life. I was newly single, she was a lot happier, and we did hook up. Honestly, I may have been depressed by that time ugly breakup, but c'est la vie, right? He had a girlfriend. We'd slept together before casually, but then he started dating someone and we barely talked anymore. When he started having trouble with his new girlfriend, she cheated, he came crawling back. It was hard turning him down because I had feelings for him, but he was just looking to get even and the sex would have had nothing whatsoever to do with me. He needed to wash. Badly. Same girl. 2 times. First time we were 19. I had just buried my father that day and was drinking myself into a coma. She kissed me and after a while go back to my room. I was too drunk to go through with it. For whatever reasons nothing went forward from that day. Skips a year or 2 into the future and we're both at a bar drinking. We go back to my place and we're making out. I step away to use the restroom before we start. 2 minutes later I come back and she's already asleep in my bed topless. I get her woken up enough to put her bra back on, and then tuck her in for the evening. Again, we go dark after that for a few years. Welp. 5 years ago she's now separated from her abusive ex-husband and living in the next state over. She comes to town for a week to watch her parents' house while they go on vacation. Our old gang gets back together for an evening and the 2 of us are hitting it off once again. Except now we're both more mature and stay sober enough to actually go through with it. We now have 2 daughters and I can't imagine a day without the 3 of them. I was married. The person that offered is the most beautiful person I've ever set eyes upon. Worst part was my marriage broke down 3 months later. As much as it really blows that your marriage ended up failing, you can at least hopefully reflect on that moment with pride in knowing that you did the morally sound thing. He called me his own name during foreplay. Would you f*** me? I'd f*** me. She was married and had a kid. Didn't want to be a home wrecker. She was baby crazy, like flat out stating I want to use you for your sperm and condoms are not an option. Style. I was 20, and absolutely not looking to be a father, so I declined. So she went and f***ed a random guy at a New Year's Eve party. I didn't have a condom. She and I knew each other for 6 years. There were a few times we made out and things started leading to sex, but she'd always stop it. This particular night, I was visiting my hometown after having moved. She wanted to throw a party for me and I accepted. By the end of the night we were making out in her backyard. We go inside and things go further than we had gone before. That is until a little voice in my head told me to stop. I didn't have protection and neither did she. While it wasn't a big deal to her, it was to me. Neither of us has an STD. Instead, I became worried about knocking her up. She is older than me and has no kids. She really wants kids. I'd rather not have my first kid outside of a committed relationship, so I stopped it. He said, "We should have sex right now. I'm really attracted to your personality but I won't want to have sex with you when I'm sober because I'm not attracted to bigger girls." While I appreciated the honesty and understand that people have physical preferences, that was a no from me. Her mom came into the room like every 5 minutes. She was literally one of the most gorgeous women I have ever laid my eyes on. She came on to me constantly at work and when my girlfriend would invite her over she would come to the bedroom where I was sleeping to charge her phone. I don't cheat. I'm still kicking myself in the ass for saying those words. My girlfriend at the time seemed to have no problem around and even gave me chlamydia. You're a good person. Do not change. Well, do change the chlamydia part. I met this guy in college and we'd flirted a lot for about 6 months and had electric chemistry, but we were never able to time a hookup. One night, we wound up at the same party and were talking a ton, but my friends got too drunk or something, so I wound up having to leave early. Guy texted me and asked if I wanted to hang out after he left the party, and I said yes. I was all excited, especially since I'd had a 1-year dry spell. But then, as I was waiting for him to show up, I wound up watching a documentary about 9/11. It was the 10-year anniversary, so it was basically non-stop coverage that weekend. I was definitely drunk, which definitely meant I started crying, so I wound up telling him not to bother coming over. So yes, I turned down sex with someone because I was too sad about 9/11. We did finally end up sealing the deal about a month later, and had a FWB situation for the months that followed. Then, we actually wound up trying to date about 2 years after that, which was a giant dumpster fire. I never told him why I flaked when we were supposed to hook up that first time. Met this girl at the club while I was in the military. Everything was going awesome. Personal note. This was unusual for me cause I looked like an older, slightly buffer McCloven. Pretty much couldn't keep our hands off each other, so we walk out to my car, making out even more. She invites me back to her place. I drive there, fingering her and teasing her the entire way there. She's telling me all the dirty things she wanted me to do to her. We get in the door and I notice a few family photos. Now my alcohol-infused brain goes single mom. Nope. As she is dragging me towards the stairs I see a photo. Her, 2 kids and a tall guy in a uniform. This woman was married not only to a fellow military guy, but a guy that I worked with in the base hospital. Thank God I didn't work for him, but I knew him. I freaked. I bolted out of there so fast. I called him and at first apologized profusely, then told him from start to finish what happened. He later found out that she did this every time he took his 2 boys camping. He divorced her and got custody of the boys. I had really bad blue balls but proud I didn't over a brother that way. She was drunk, and while this was 20 years ago so the awareness wasn't out there, but I didn't want to take advantage and ruin a potential good relationship. Instead, she was so mortified at being turned down that she refused to talk to me again and pretended that I didn't exist for the rest of college. I was 20 and had huge crush on a coworker at the amusement park we worked at. She invited me to go to a Halloween party with her and heavily hinted we would be hooking up. I show up at the party and she was with a friend of hers. For costumes they were both dressed up as sluts. They were all over me and all over each other most of the night. They eventually tried to drag me off to an empty room upstairs. It was really a dream scenario for most guys. The problem was her friend was 15. The girl I liked was pretty upset that I wouldn't go through with it and you could tell she was mad at me but trying to hide it. She, jokingly, mocked me and even said, "What are you, gay or something, he he he." The other guys at the party gave me a lot of shit as well as it caused a little bit of a scene, and as the word spread I quietly slipped out that party and went home. Turns out getting mad at me for not wanting to commit statutory rape in order to hook up with her made me lose the crush I had. The other guys at the party gave me a lot of shit as well as it caused a little bit of a scene, and as the word spread I quietly slipped out that party and went home. Turns out getting mad at me for not wanting to commit statutory rape in order to hook up with her made me lose the crush I had. If word spread quickly that you didn't, it likely would have spread just as quickly if you had. You made the right call. She'd just broken up with her boyfriend, my friend at the time. She made her intentions well known when she invited me over to her house in front of everyone. I was a virgin at the time and would have loved to, but I couldn't do that to a friend. She asked me if I wanted to go in on some heroin, make a few bucks and get up and check please. Gotta go. She was a little too married for my taste. We were getting hot and heavy on my couch, and as I was taking off her top getting ready to have sex with her, she mentioned how she couldn't wait to introduce me to her kids. I shrugged it off. I knew she was a single mom, but every time after that, she'd talk dirty, say something sexy. Then she had to mention how I'd get along with her son. Or, she said that I could talk comic books with the boy when I came over. Yup, that killed my lust drive.